Hey everybody, and welcome. This is a funny 21st century thing where you wave to people. Would you ever do that at the beginning of a conference in the pre-COVID universe? So anyhow, here we are, and welcome to everybody. My name is Bill Cope, and I've been involved in this conference since it began. You can see Sarah there is from Australia. Well, I'm from Australia as well. Originally, you can probably tell my Australian accent. My name is Bill Cope, but I work in the US now at the University of Illinois, and at the moment I'm in Greece. And the conference is in Spain, and I'm sure once we get to talk to all of you, you are all over the place. So anyhow, welcome here. This is the introductory session to the conference. It's so it's kind of an online welcome reception. Normally, actually at the real conference, why did I say real conference? That was a terrible slip. At the in-person conference, there is actually a reception. So and we decided to do it on the Friday before the conference because it was a weekday rather than do it on the Sunday, the night before the in-person conference. Anyhow, just to give you a little bit of an overview, we have 100 people attending the in-person conference, so we still haven't got back to our pre-COVID days. But nevertheless, it's great that there's 100 people there. But there are 100 people online as well. So one of the things that COVID did to us, as in did to Common Ground, was it prompted us to build this online platform, which is actually our own platform. It's not without its flaws, but we're quite pleased with how it's turned out. And just to tell you a little bit about the format of the conference, there are some synchronous sessions, but they are recorded. If they're an awkward time of day, something synchronously is nice. But if they're an awkward time of day, there'll be a recording posted soon after the actual session. But also one of the things that we ask people to do is we ask the in-person presenters as much as possible to put up digital media. And in fact, we have over 200 pieces of digital media. So most of our in-person presenters have been good enough not only to present in person, but to record their session in advance and put it online, which means that the online folks are not missing out. But also one of the advantages of that area is, in a normal in-person conference, at the end, there's not much time for conversation. And, the first person who asks the first question is usually something irrelevant. You know what it's like. But the great thing about the online discussion board is there's lots and lots of scope for discussion, asynchronous discussion. So here's a plea to everybody. For goodness sake, when you look at one of the online presentations, even if it's one that's been recorded from a synchronous in-person presentation, please don't leave without leaving a comment. Because that way we can actually, build a dialogue between people. And there are certain advantages in that discussion board format. You've got more time to think about what you write. It can be more extensive, more people can speak, all those very good things. So we're trying to say that, COVID has helped us produce a better experience for more people. So now a little bit about the history of the conference. I noticed that I keep losing track of how many years it is, but this is the 17th time I've run this conference, over the years. And it's along the way, we've been, this is a research network, and it's about building a body of knowledge. So we speak to that body of knowledge online and in person at conferences, but also the journal is there, which has an enormous amount of legacy material, which has been created over the years. And one thing we always say to people is, please use that material. Your login gives you access to all of that material, books as well as journal articles, and please cite it. The best thing you can do in an academic environment, recognizing a good idea and recognizing other people's work, is to cite that work in your own work. So please do that. So what we normally do in this session is actually just very informally go around the room. And in the 21st century, the room is a pile of tiles on a screen. We go around the tiles one by one. and we get people to introduce what they're doing, say a little bit about themselves, where they come from, what they do, all that kind of good stuff. And then meanwhile, Kayla, who works with us in the Common Ground group, will find the link and put the link in the chat if you're giving a presentation, that is, at the conference. So if that's okay with everybody, I might just go around and call out people. If your microphone's not working or you're in a busy airport changing planes or all the other contingencies that make it possible to be still part of conferences these days, just shout out in the chat. So the idea is to give a quick intro to yourself, say hi, where you're from, what you do, and what brings you to the conference. Meanwhile, if you've got a session, Kayla will find your session and pop it into the chat box. So the first one I have is Chris Smith. You're my first child. Hey, Chris, how are you?
Apologies in advance for less than stellar audio. My audio interface, which I use for podcasting, is giving me a bit of the grip. Hi, I'm Chris Smith. I'm professor and chair of musicology at Texas Tech University in West Texas, although I am currently, for the summer, in the North Berkshires of Massachusetts. My presentation is entitled The Anti-Colonial Conservatory. I'm a tenured full professor at Texas Tech. I'm also white cisgender male, and so the dismantling of systemic privilege is especially important to me, and that's the basis for my topic. I'm primarily, therefore, an educator and a fine arts music practitioner. So that's me.
Fantastic. And yes, these are tremendously important. This is a difficult, edgy moment. So these are really, really fundamentally important issues. So to be actually, excuse my cough. I don't have COVID, but I have had bronchitis. And the great thing about online is you can't get my bronchitis. Yes, really important. And that's one of the things we really want to do at the conference is bridge between various arts practices and these broad social agendas. How do those things connect? And I just taking the link there, I can see that you've had 37 engagements already. So it's great to see that people are logging in and looking at papers. So for everybody else, if you want to hear more from Chris, there's the link. Okay, the next one I have is Dr. Liana Valente.
Why, hello. So I'm coming to you from kind of sunny Alexandria, Virginia, just south of Washington, D.C. I do have, I've uploaded a video and a couple of documents on my topic, which focuses on improving the quality of life for older persons through music participation. And this is focused on just the natural aging process. I do acknowledge the fantastic work that educators and music therapists are doing for those who have suffered traumatic brain injuries or are suffering with dementia. But this presentation is focused on the natural aging process. And I bring into this presentation my work with the United Nations and my support of Agenda 2030, which is the agenda for sustainability and development. So I'm trying to bring my two passions together, which is advocacy and music in a new way. So you can watch the video that I uploaded. I also have some links to the United Nations for all members of civil society to explore at your leisure.
Wonderful. Yeah, again, this is one of these other vectors of diversity, which, is it being forgotten now? Maybe it's not, which is age. These, variations of people's interests, capacities across the lifespan. So, and to connect that with music that's obviously a really important agenda. So thank you very much for that, Liana. The next one we have is Kat Ziemkiev. I don't know whether I will have pronounced that correctly. It's always an occupational hazard of reading people's names on the screen. Anyhow, over to you then, Kat.
Hi, thank you. It's Ziemke, yes. So I am a transdisciplinarian. I have a background in mathematics and law, and I am a returning student in transformative studies with the consciousness focus. I have a real passion for transformation. But the reason I'm here is I started out life as an artist, and it has driven me throughout my life in all these other things. And so I also have a passion for the arts, and I'm connecting all of these dots in my work. My title of my presentation is Forgotten Knowledge of the Soul. And I'm really new to this, so it's maybe a little bit rough, but getting there. Thank you.
Hello, guys.
Oh no, I think Bill has frozen.
Yeah, no, I'm back again now. Sorry, I've got not good internet. So, yeah, sorry. I'll go back. Kat, did you finish, or you're still speaking?
No, I finished. I'm not sure if maybe I froze at the end. Sorry.
No, I think it was me. So, okay, great. Thanks for that. And I can see from your link there, and as I say, thank you, Kayla, for putting these links into the chat. That it's obviously a broad-ranging philosophical question there, and it's all strength for you for taking on such a hugely deep and important issue. So, thank you very much for that. And I can see, look, there you go. You've had 65 people who've been past your paper already. I don't know whether they've listened to it all carefully, but we hope that by the end they have, and they've given you good, substantial comments. Okay, our next person going across my Zoom tiles is Tanya Sharp. Hi, Tanya, how are you?
Hello, I'm doing very well, thank you. I'm coming from Seattle, Washington, and my background is in user experience design in software. I've been doing that for 20 plus years, and my paper is titled The Shadow Pandemic of Gender-Based Violence, Activism Art Raises Awareness During a Global Crisis. And this paper was derived from my thesis at Seattle University. I got my MFA there last year. And this is my second conference sharing some of this content. I have uploaded lots of media. I have a public service announcement, artist videos of their testimonials, and also stories that were on our website. So please enjoy taking a look at those. If you have a chance, I will put the information in the chat here. Yeah, and that's, I've been in the nonprofit arts world for the last 8 years. I serve as a Edmonds Arts Commissioner, which is in Washington State, for the last 7. I also serve on the Edmonds Center for the Arts Board. That's a fine and performing arts center here in Edmonds. So very involved with the community here, and happy to attend the conference in person. We'll be arriving in Spain in a few days.
Oh, wonderful. Fantastic. So you're, and great that you're here, Tanya. And I can see that you're in room 5. So I saw a room there. I thought, hello, that room. It must be, you must be in person for that. So thanks for coming to this virtual session as well.
My pleasure.
Thank you very much for all that wonderful material for us to work through for those who are not there in person. And again, I mean, my goodness, what after the pandemic, all these social, fissures and social crisis points seem to have been accentuated. So, the role of the arts in addressing those issues is just so tremendously important. I can see you've already.
There is a lot of applied research and also theoretical. So one of the case studies was Take Heart, You're Not Alone, which much of this media represents. And it was in affiliation with the United Nations Women, with the 16 days of activism that happens every year. And this last, that is in alignment with gender-based violence. So it's very applicable during GBV, as it heightened into what we called the shadow pandemic, that's the title.
Fantastic, really important work. Okay, now the next person I have in my Zoom tiles is Kate Catterall. How are you, Kate?
Hi, I'm great. I'm weak Wi-Fi in Wyoming, but I'm a design researcher at the University of Texas in Austin, and located there typically. I'm introducing a project that I completed in March of this year after a little bit of a COVID delay. The project's called Drawing the Ring of Steel, and it's the story of a design proposal that overcame socio-political impasses around commemoration of the contested history of the Troubles in Northern Ireland. And the Troubles was, of course, a 30-year civil war or conflict that raged 1969 to 89. The project was supported by the Department of Foreign Affairs in Ireland, the US State Department, and Belfast City Council, representing the UK, all three parties that negotiated the peace treaty back in 1989. So I'm excited to present, and I will be posting a video. I only have the slides up there right now, so you can see pictures at the moment, but later today, a video will be posted. So thanks, and looking forward to the event.
Wonderful, and thank you very, very much. I was kind of fortunate enough, or one of our Common Ground conferences we held at Queen's University in Belfast in just before 2019, just before the just before the pandemic. And as part of the conference, we actually organised the walking tour, the Troubles walking tour, where a Catholic guide took us through one side of the wall, and then a Protestant guide took us through the other part of the wall. So it's kind of very moving and extraordinary implications beyond the space. So if any of you think that Belfast's a narrow area of focus, it's not. It's the world. So yeah. So
true. And shared commemoration always tricky in contested territory.
Of course, absolutely. Of course. Now, Michael is the next, who was just about to write me a message, I think, but I don't think I saw the next part of it. So, oh, okay. Thank you for that. That's one of the obvious things I should be doing. Now can you see? Is that better? Thank you for that. Thank you for that suggestion, Michael. That's much appreciated. Yeah. So, Michael, over to you.
Hi, everybody. I'm a public policy professor at the University of California at Berkeley. Just retired, so I've ascended to the realm of what we call professor of the graduate school. I've worked in museums and arts policy on and off over most of my career, though I probably spent most of it doing environmental and energy. I'm an architect and engineer by training, and my most recent stuff in the art trades is looking at the habit of museums of keeping their collections off their books and in the basement, so we can't see it and they can't afford to do all the good stuff that museums should be doing for us. Our paper, I'm on this conference with Jean Johnstone, who's there in person. I unfortunately couldn't come owing to family obligations. Our paper is about an arts and cultural policy course that brings together people from the art world side of campus and policy analysts. And you're all invited to enjoy that session. Paper is also posted.
Wonderful, and what a great thing that it's in this setup now. It's possible to have one of the speakers online and one there in person. So that's a great thing. And again, the whole arts policy area is both a challenge and also a super important area. So thank you very much for being here, Michael, and for offering that presentation. Now, the next one I have across my Zoom tiles is Linda.
Hi everyone, I'm Linda Robson. I'm from the Open University in the UK. I'm actually based in Folkestone, which is on the south coast of England. I've got the Channel Tunnel, is just at the top of my road. And I'm talking about, my paper is called Reflecting on an Urban Art Collection to Stimulate Research Thinking. And it's talking about how I've used the collection of art that's in public spaces within Folkestone and how I've engaged with it. And that's informed my thinking around my research, which is into part-time distance learning higher education students who take a break in their studies.
Great. Yeah. Well, again, another very important area. So, and thank you very much for being with us, Linda. All right, the next one we have here is Sarah from Australia. Now that's a big burden to carry, because there's a few. Oh, there you go. Sarah's just put a comment in. And her topic is on the role of hip hop in young Sudanese Australians developing their political voice to resist Australian whiteness discourse. And you don't have a, I'm just reading out the comment there. There's the link, by the way. And Sarah says that she has yet to, she's put up a PowerPoint, but she's yet to upload her presentation, but I can see that she is at the conference in person as well. So yes, please put a recording up as well. The PowerPoint's great, but a recording also means that the people who are online can see your voice. Again, this is another one of these, just looking at the work that you're doing there. You know, these crossovers between arts media, in the case of hip hop, and issues of race and identity in these difficult times. So it's like very important work there, Sarah. The next person we have is Hiroki Fujitani. I don't know whether I got that name right. If I didn't, my apologies.
Hello, I'm Japanese, so it's Hiroki Fujitani. Yes, okay. And actually, I'm just arrived now at hotel in Zaragoza from Japan. It was 30 hours, so I'm a little bit tired, but I try to talk. Sorry. And I found maybe Wi-Fi of my hotel is a little bit weak, so okay. I'm specialized in sociology, and I do especially life history survey on hikikomori people. Do you know hikikomori? Hikikomori, it means social withdrawal people. So, and also I was hikikomori in 10 years. So with this point, I want to create the public history of hikikomori. So it's my theme of research, and I will presentation like this. So it is very happy to participate in this conference. Thank you.
Oh, how absolutely interesting, fascinating. So yes, well, thank you very much for joining us, even though you've had so little sleep in this particular session. And I hope your session at the conference goes very, very well. And again, for those people online, I think there's, I'm just looking at the abstract quickly, there's a lot of stuff there which looks very interesting and provocative. So thank you very much for being with us. Now, the next person I have is Bethany McMorrin. Again, I don't know whether I pronounced that correctly. Hi, Bethany, how are you?
Hello there. My name is Bethany, and I'm a recent graduate from York University in Toronto, Canada, in dance and environmental studies. I'm presenting Reducing the Hope Gap, an examination of climate change theater action plays of 2021. This research was done with Dr. Tara Wright from the University of Dalhousie. And this research looks at the idea of the hope gap and the intersection of the arts and the climate crisis, and the importance that the arts holds. And I'm really excited to be presenting in person on July 5th.
Wonderful, and I can see your, on the link that you are presenting in person here. Wonderful, and thank you very much for being at this online session. And I don't know whether you put media in there yet, I can't really see, but if you can put in an online presentation, that would be great as well. So.
I've uploaded the slides.
Oh, the slides. Okay, that's nice.
Do you need a video as well, or does the video come from the live conference?
If you could put a video as well, that would be great, because it gives that we have 100 people online and 100 people in person. Oh, and by the way, I didn't mention this before, there's also a Spanish language strand, and the Spanish language strand, I think it's something like 36 in person and 25 online. A lot of those folks are also bilingual, obviously, and the English language folks are if anybody's bilingual in Spanish, they're able to access all the Spanish language material. But look, if you can make a recording, that would be great, because that really helps the folks. Sometimes PowerPoints are a bit obtuse, and that way it really helps the 100 and something people who are fully online. So thank you, Bethany. If you could, it'd be great. You don't have to, but it'd be, for their sake, it would be really good. Okay.
Thank you.
The next one that I have across my Zoom times is Guilia Priori. I'm not sure quite whether I pronounced that correctly again, but you there, Guilia?
Hello, I don't know if you can see me or hear me.
Yes.
Hello.
Yes, we
Can
can
you
see
hear
you.
me? I'm sorry, my connection might not be very good.
We
My
can
name
hear
is
you
Giulia
well.
Priori. Okay, that's good. Thank you. So my name is Giulia Priori, and I'm doing a PhD at University College Cork in Ireland. My work is about textile contemporary art in connection with heritage and memory theory. So I'm looking at two case studies. So one is Rita Duffy, based in Northern Ireland, and the way she uses textile heritage connected to the linen industry of Northern Ireland to kind of subvert the memorialization narratives about the Troubles, especially in connection with women memories. And then I'm looking at the Japanese artist Ishii Ushi and the way she looks at Japanese silk industrial heritage to interact with the memorialization of post-World War II trauma, especially regarding women. So this is my research. I decided to present a poster presentation because I think it would be a good snapshot of my research up to now. And I'm just in the middle of my PhD, so I hope it will be interesting.
Great, wonderful. And Neil, thank you very much for for being with us. So, excuse my cough. So, yes, thank you very much for being with us. That's it's really wonderful. And again, all of these presentations so far, the ones we've been through, are about these crossovers between these granular issues of artistic practice and broader social concerns and broader issues, which is really wonderful. It's exactly what we're trying to achieve at the conference. And the last title that I have is Mo Lee.
Hello, hi. Yes, so nice to see you, and I will be attending the conference as a participant, and I'm looking forward to experience my first in-person academic conference ever. So I'm super excited. Yes, I'm living in Spain. I'm based in Spain, so I do speak the language. So I will be traveling to Zaragoza to meet you guys. And if you guys need a local guide, I will be available. Yeah.
Wonderful. Okay, that's great. Well, great to have you with us, and I hope it turns out to be a really, really rich and beneficial conference for you. So, okay. So look, does anybody have any questions? Because I'll just go over a couple of other aspects of the conference to close this session now. But does anybody have any other any questions or comments they'd like to make before we before I close things off? Okay, so look, the most important thing I'm going to do is put, well, maybe not the most important, but an important thing I'm going to do is put this particular link in the chat. So this link is to the Arts and Society bookstore, right? And this is the legacy materials that have been produced by this group over the last 17 years. And you can see there that we have 30 books, all available as ebooks, all accessible to you, and a total of books and articles of 1,638 pieces. There's a remarkable body of work there. And the advanced search button, which you can see sort of up towards the right-hand corner there, is a granular way of finding stuff which might be more closely related to your research. So because the conference covers a very wide range of arts practices, there's a good chance you're going to find some material in here which is close to your areas of interest. But the other reason why I put this link in, and just to reinforce a point I made earlier, is please use this material and please cite it. It's really, really wonderful material, and it's rich, it's full of good ideas, and all of it makes this connection between very specific granular things around arts practices and the big picture social questions of our time. So that's the overarching theme behind all this material. So as I say, please use it, please cite it. The other thing is that the journal publishing process is that please submit a formal paper for peer review to go in the journal. We're also all the time looking for book proposals. If you've got a book idea you'd like to float, it might be a singly authored book, or it might be a collection. We're building up this body of knowledge here with a very interesting collection of materials along the way. So now, again, just to reinforce the point I made earlier, is even if you're at an in-person session at the conference, go to the online page, maybe even while the person's talking, and type in a comment. The great thing is these remain a kind of a record of the discussion along the way, and it's incredibly affirming and helpful to people to have constructive conversations and dialogues going on, and to keep a record of those. Now, you will have access to all this digital content forever. We do turn the discussion boards off after a while, but they're certainly open for the conference and a few days after that. And the other thing I want to mention as well is that the conversations in the discussion boards are asynchronous. However, every comment triggers an email. So if you find that unbearable, you can go and turn it all off. But it only triggers an email which is relevant to the presenter, actually, or relevant to the people involved in the interchange. So, don't feel as if I'm not going to say anything because there's nobody there. The answer is it will trigger an email which will bring somebody to be there, if you know what I mean. So, I'm just encouraging everybody to interact as much as possible in that area. Now, anything else? Kayla, tell me something important I've forgotten. Have I covered all the bases?
I think you've covered everything. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, thank you for that. Yeah. So, folks, any more questions, comments? Whether you're there in person or whether you are there virtually, I hope you have a wonderful conference. Remind me, Kayla, I've got a mental blank. Where's this conference located next year in person?
Next year I can check.
Yeah, sorry, I should have looked that up beforehand. Someone else might know. Does somebody know where it is? I'll just go and have a quick look myself. So, we were sort of banished to online during the COVID period. We've been fortunate to be able to come back online again now. And I'm just looking to see whether it's in this calendar here.
Conference is in Poland next year.
Poland. Is it in Krakow? Is it Krakow? Where it is? Krakow is an unbelievably beautiful place. And the university there is very, very supportive. Don't be rattled by the fact that there's a war down the road. Shouldn't say that, should I? But, do consider, well, hopefully by then there won't be a war down the road. Let's keep our fingers crossed that the world turns out half all right. Yeah, but Krakow is a wonderful place, and we have colleagues there at the University of Krakow who are wonderful colleagues and very enthusiastic about this research network and its work. All right, everyone. Any more questions, comments? Well, great that you could all make it. And it was actually one of the nicest things about this session actually is we had a mix of the online folks and the in-person folks all coming to this online session. So that's wonderful. Okay, see you all again. we're in the 21st century, we're post-pandemic, and we all wave to each other at the end of the session. So, bye, everybody. Great to
Bye.
see you.
And Bill and Kayla, thanks so much for having this online, because we can feel so isolated when we can't attend a conference.
Yes.
And I
Yeah.
love the discussion boards, especially because they're a permanent, part of all of this. But it's so nice to see people and
Yeah,
to
of course.
talk and to talk with people and be able to engage at least a little bit synchronously. So thank you to you and Kayla for doing this.
No problems. A pleasure to meet you all and to hear about the great work that you're all doing. So, bye, folks. See you then.